Good morning, students. I hope all of you are doing well. In the last session, we had started with the chapter Indigo, and I think so. The first part was very clear with the help of the flowchart. Now, last time we had discussed the things with the help of flowchart. Today, I'll be revising the previous portion with the help of the book so that you have an idea what is given there in the book. Although, after the flowchart, you must have felt that you will not require that sort of reading also because it's the same thing given in the book. I'll show you the book here on the screen. We had started with the chapter Indigo, and the author Louis Fisher, I told you he's the biographer. Then he asked Mahatma Gandhi from where did he get the idea of this Quit India and civil disobedience movement. He said that he got the idea from Champaran. And then he described he went to attend the annual convention. He was met by Rajkumar Shukla. Rajkumar Shukla insisted on coming to Champaran. Then he went to Lucknow, Kanpur. Then from Kanpur he went to his ashram. Shukla followed him. Then he gave him a date to come to Calcutta. Both of them boarded the train to Patna. They reached Rajendra Prasad's house, where he was. Rajendra Prasad was not at home, and this is how he experienced untouchability. Then he sent a telegram to Kriplani because he was going to Muzaffarpur. He was received by Kriplani. The date is given here. Stayed in the house of Professor Malkani. The extraordinary thing of Professor Malkani, you know that in spite of being a government servant, he housed Gandhi for 2 days. Then the Muzaffarpur lawyers met Mahatma Gandhi, and they wanted to impress him by telling him the high fees and then telling him that they were fighting cases. Gandhi chided the lawyers, and he said that the important thing was to bring them out of fear. The first message of the chapter is here, to bring them out of fear. Then here it is given information about indigo sharecropping. I've already told you what was indigo sharecropping, that the Britishers forced the Indian peasants that on 15% of the land they had to grow indigo and give the entire indigo harvest as rent. And then Germany developed synthetic indigo, and then the compensation amount was taken from the peasants. Then peasants approached the court, and then it was Rajkumar Shukla who met Mahatma Gandhi. I think so this point till here is clear. Then Mahatma Gandhi, he came to Champaran. After coming to Champaran, he went to two places. I told you, the British Official Commissioner and the British Landlord Association. In the Landlord Association, the secretary asked him that he told him that he would not give information to an outsider, and the commissioner bullied him and asked him to leave Champaran. Gandhi said, neither am I an outsider, nor will I leave Champaran, and he proceeded to Motihari. And that is where we had stopped that day. Now here on the screen today, you'll find the proceedings which happened at Motihari, because everything happened now at Motihari, and Motihari is the capital of Champaran. Now I've given all the things in the form of the flowchart. I'll be sending this, I'll be sending the notes also. Both the things I'll be sending. But this flowchart, as I told you, is a historical chapter. So this flowchart will help you a lot. I think so all the earlier incidents are clear to you. What is indigo sharecropping? Why was Rajkumar Shukla described as resolute and tenacious? Because take care of the questions also. Then after that, what was his experience at Rajendra Prasad's house? Then what was the extraordinary thing of Professor Malkani? Why did what was the reason that Gandhi chided the lawyers? Then which were the two places that he went after reaching Champaran? And then he proceeded to Motihari. What happened at Motihari? This is important because this in fact will bring justice to the sharecroppers. Now on the screen you can see here, he reached Motihari. Now what happened was he got a small house and he started to live there. He heard that one of the peasants was maltreated. He was ill treated by some Britisher. Now he went there. And as he was going there, there was no other method. There was an elephant available. He was going there on the elephant's back. And then what happened? The police commissioner's messenger stopped him. And he said, you go to that particular place where you are living right now. I have to give you a notice. The reason is that official notices are not given on the way. They are given to that particular person only on that address what is mentioned on that notice. So he took Mahatma Gandhi to that place, and Mahatma Gandhi was given an official notice. Now those who have a little bit of idea know that if you accept the notice and you sign the receipt, that means whatever is written in the notice, you are accepting it. And if you deny it, then in that case you are refusing to accept the notice, then in that case also you have to now follow some legal proceedings. Now what he did was something very unusual. He accepted the notice, he signed a receipt, and on the receipt he said, I am going to disobey. Now this is very strange. If he had to disobey, he should not have accepted, but he accepted the notice, and on the receipt he said, I am going to disobey. Now, as a result, next day he was called to the court. What was there in the notice? Quit Champaran. Leave Champaran. He said, I'll not leave Champaran because nobody can force him, an Indian, to leave any part of India. So Britishers already, they were afraid that Mahatma Gandhi could do something there. So they were taking their own safety, their own measures, their precautionary measures. So they wanted Mahatma Gandhi to leave. Mahatma Gandhi refused and he wrote on the receipt, I am going to disobey. Next day he was called to the court. Now before going to the court, he called the lawyers from Muzaffarpur, Rajendra Prasad, everybody. And he consulted with all of them what has to be done. Now, he was not doing for his own safety, he was doing it because he knew he has to be left free so that he can help the peasants. So now what happened? Next day was called to the court. When he reached the court, there was something that astonishing thing happened. And what was that? Outside the court, there were thousands of peasants. You can see I have made a picture over there. The court was there. Outside the court, there were thousands of peasants. In the book, if you see the line, it's written there. The town of Motihari became black with peasants. And now what happened? Inside, the officials, they were so powerless. How to control this huge crowd? And one more thing, if you remember the first message of the chapter, when he chided the lawyers, what did he tell them? Bring the peasants out of fear. Now here, don't you think so? They came out of fear on their own. Nobody called them. They came on their own because they heard a Mahatma has come to help us. The Mahatma is in problem. So this is how it happens now, students. If we are afraid of dark, if somebody is there with us, we don't feel that fear. The reason there is somebody with us. Now here what happened? The peasants came to know really somebody has come to help them. The person has not just come to fight cases, but the person has come to help them. Peasants came on their own. Don't you think so? They were being liberated from fear. This is what he wanted and that was happening. Now, inside the court, bigger problem. How to control the huge crowd? The crowd had come on their own, and how to control this crowd? And who controlled the crowd was Mahatma Gandhi. Now, in this manner, he was giving a concrete proof to the officials. See, if we come out of fear, you'll not be able to control us. And this is the same thing that happened here. And the officials, he did not say anything, but he showed them, see, this is how, if we come out of fear, you will not be able to control us. Then he controlled the crowd, he went inside the court. What happened then? When the proceedings started, the prosecutor said, sir, postpone the case. The reason was what? Why did he want the judge to postpone the case? They knew very well that they would not be able to prove Gandhi wrong. On what basis were they asking him to leave Champaran? They were already wrong. On what basis can they ask? He did nothing wrong. Then how can they ask an Indian to leave any part of India? So on their part, they knew inside they were wrong. The prosecutor said, so postpone the case. Mahatma Gandhi, he had chided the lawyers that don't take cases to the court. He said he knew that postponing the case means again one more date, one more date. He refused. He said, sir, I am guilty. Now this is a bigger problem. They knew they cannot prove him guilty. The person is saying I am guilty. Now how to prove him guilty? That was a bigger problem. Students, like it goes like this. Like if there is a mother and a child, the child has broken something and the child hides it. The mother comes to know, the mother will ask the child, you tell me you have broken. If the child has broken something and the child automatically goes to the mother, I've broken this. How can the mother say anything to the child now when the child has accepted the truth? Now what happened here? Mahatma Gandhi said, I'm guilty. I have done something. Now they also know they cannot punish him. But why did he accept his guilt? This is a question over here. So you can see if we follow the whole flow chart, from Motihari, the peasant was maltreated. Mahatma Gandhi was going there. He was given an official notice. The notice was to quit Champaran. Then he signed the receipt. He said, I'm going to disobey. He was summoned to the court. Summoned means called to the court. Then he called the lawyers. He reached the court. Now whatever happened to the court, I've written this side. In the court, what happened? The peasants gathered outside. The officials felt powerless. And who controlled them? Controlled the whole crowd. Mahatma Gandhi. The prosecutor said, postpone the case. Mahatma Gandhi accepted the guilt. What was the reason? Just three. See, I have written three reasons. The first thing, he said, I don't want to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. People should not say, Mahatma Gandhi can break the law. We also can break the law anytime. He said, I don't want to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. I can do it, but not everybody can do it. So this is how he said, I don't want to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. The second thing he said, I listen to the voice of my conscience. My conscience said, accept your guilt. I accepted my guilt. The third thing he said, I've come for a bigger service. Even if in this bigger service somebody says Mahatma Gandhi has broken the law, no problem. At least I'll know that I'll be free or I'll be punished or whatever it is, but whenever I'll be free, I'll be able to do something again. So he said that I don't want to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. I listen to the voice of my conscience and I have come for a bigger service, a national service. So even if I'm proved guilty, there's nothing wrong. Even if I say that I am guilty, there's nothing wrong. So if you are asked these 2 mark questions, you have to write these 3 points. Then what happened? They knew they cannot still prove him guilty. The judge postponed, but for first of all, he gave him a bail. He said, for 120 minutes, I am giving you some freedom and you provide bail. Mahatma Gandhi said, I have got no bail. So this is civil disobedience. You don't break the law, but you don't follow the law also. So this is what he was doing. Then the judge, what he said was, just now I'm leaving you free and afterwards we'll discuss about this particular thing. So if he is leaving him free on this particular thing, it is very clear they knew that Mahatma Gandhi has done nothing wrong. So this is what happened. But now don't you think so that he was now more powerful because he knows that they cannot take any step against him. Now what happened was when they came home, he found something unusual again. He had called the lawyers before going to the court, you remember Rajendra Prasad and all. He found that they were going back. Mahatma Gandhi said, where are you going? This is a bigger problem. We all are discussing the justice of the sharecroppers. Then where are you going? This is a question of injustice. Then they discussed among themselves and they thought, being an outsider, Mahatma Gandhi is ready to go to jail for them. And we are the natives of Champaran, close to Champaran. It would be so bad. He has come from somewhere else. He is ready to go to jail for the peasants. And we cannot go to jail for those peasants who live close to us, first of all, and second, from whom we have taken some money to fight the cases. They thought it would be so shameful to leave. So they say that they told Mahatma Gandhi, so we are ready to go to jail with you. Mahatma Gandhi said, Hum jeet gaye, we have won. Now, why did he declare the battle victorious in advance? They have not won till now. They will win only when the land comes back to them, or justice or compensation comes back to them. But he said, we are victorious. The reason? Peasants are out of fear. Lawyers are ready to go to jail. Now, can anybody stop them from winning the battle? Nobody can. That's why he declared the battle victorious in advance. And one sight of it he got after few days because the case against him was dropped. And this was the first victory of civil disobedience. Now, if you are asked a question, what happened? What's the first victory of civil disobedience? You have to write this everything. He's given the official notice. He's going to the court. After going to the court, accepting the guilt, then he was left free. Then the lawyers were ready to go to jail. And then he said, we have won. And they really won half part of the battle at least, when it was the first victory of civil disobedience. So in history, this was recorded. Where is the first victory of civil disobedience? Civil disobedience actually started too late. But this first civil disobedience victory was there at Champaran. So if you are asked this particular thing, it's here. But now, have they got justice? Till now, not. So let us discuss this portion and then I'll stop. Students, it's very interesting also. And plus, people don't just call Mahatma Gandhi great because of this particular, any other reason. He was such a man and that's why he's called the father of the nation. What he did, just see here. Mahatma Gandhi gathered evidence against whom? The landlords. Now the landlords were seeing all this, but they could not do anything. He gathered evidence and 4 times he was called by the Lieutenant Governor because he wrote a whole report to the Viceroy of India. And he said this is all going on there. He was called by the Lieutenant Governor 4 times. Every time before going, he used to tell the people, I might not come back. I might not come back. They might send me to jail. But this did not happen. The Lieutenant Governor set up an inquiry commission. Now this is again one more victory in itself. The reason? Students, if you know what is an inquiry commission, first of all you should know this. Like supposingly a train accident has happened. Then one inquiry commission is set up by the government which gives an unbiased report. Unbiased report means if this inquiry commission thinks that it's a mistake of the government, they can say yes, it's a mistake of the government. So they give an impartial report. So don't you think so this is a victory in itself? The reason this inquiry commission can say whatever the Britishers did was wrong, because obviously they have done wrong. They broke the contract. They should have given compensation to the peasants. They took compensation from them. Now what happened was Mahatma Gandhi gathered heap of evidence. Inquiry commission was set up. Now in the inquiry commission, who were there? Members of the inquiry commission. One side peasants represented by Mahatma Gandhi, other side landlords. Now what happened? He had gathered heap of evidence against the Britishers. The Britishers saw, if this is all going on, we will have to give heavy compensation back. Do you understand this or not? Students, if I purchase something from the market, supposing it's of 5,000, a mobile or something, and this mobile after few days does not work well, and by chance if I approach the court, and after writing some grievances also, no action is taken, I approach the court, and if I win in the consumer court, they will not just give me 5,000 back. They will give me some extra money also, which I'll say as the harassment charges. That means compensation amount. And that compensation amount can be 25,000 also. Now they knew that they have taken so much amount, but when they'll have to give compensation, they'll have to give heavy compensation back. So they told Mahatma Gandhi, okay, how much do you want? Now you'll say, ma'am, of course he'll say 100%. They thought Mahatma Gandhi would say 100%. To their utter astonishment, Mahatma Gandhi said 50%. And he was very adamant on 50%. They thought if he is adamant on 50%, when we'll say 25%, he'll refuse. And there'll be a deadlock. Deadlock, you understand? The Britishers would say, we are ready to give. They are not ready to take the amount. Got it? So Mahatma Gandhi remained adamant on 50%. The Britishers said, we'll be able to give 25%. They thought Mahatma Gandhi would refuse. Mahatma Gandhi said 25%. Done. Now people were astonished. When you can ask 100%, you ask 50%. And when they say 25%, you should have refused, but you accept 25%. What is the reason? He said, amount, money is not important. Important thing is that they are giving the money back. If he had remained adamant, there would have been a deadlock. Nobody could have broken that deadlock. Now what happened was, they said 25%, Mahatma Gandhi accepted. He said amount is not important. Important thing is that they are giving the money back, and with that they are submitting with their prestige also. They were thinking they are above the law. And now they have to come below the law and give them what? 25% refund back. Giving the money, by giving the money, what were they accepting? We have done wrong. So this is what is important here. So he said amount is not important. Important thing that they are giving the money back. The deadlock has been broken, and because of this, what happened? They gave the money back and the peasants got courage. Courage, and this is the second message of the chapter. The first message, he wanted the people to come out of fear. The second, he wanted them to have courage. And did the peasants get courage? Yes, because they knew they have rights, they have defenders. They have rights and somebody is there to defend those rights. And they got courage. And this is the second the message of the chapter. And the most astonishing thing happened. After a few years, the Britishers left Champaran and the land came back to the peasants. And this would not have happened if he had remained adamant on 50% and 100%. And this is the unusual thing that he did. And the land came back to the peasants, and this is how the things happened over there. And the Britishers left Champaran. They wanted Gandhi to quit Champaran. They themselves had to quit Champaran. And this is how all the things happened at Champaran, and the first victory of civil disobedience. And did the peasants get their land back? Yes. So now a very quick revision. What happened at Motihari, I have told you. A peasant was maltreated. Mahatma Gandhi was going there. He was given an official notice to quit Champaran. He signed the receipt. Then he said, I would disobey. He was called to the court. He called the lawyers before going to the court. When he reached the court, the peasants gathered outside the court. The officials were powerless. Gandhi controlled the crowd. Then inside, the prosecutor requested to postpone the case. Mahatma Gandhi, seeing the delay, accepted his guilt. After that, still they left him free. Then, because they could not prove his guilt, then he went back. He found the lawyers going. Then he pricked their conscience. Where are you going? Then their conscience was pricked and they were ready to go to jail with Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi declared the battle victorious in advance. Then really half part of the battle they won when the case was dropped, and that was the first victory of civil disobedience. Now how did he bring justice? He gathered evidence against the landlords. The landlords, they could not do anything. He was called by the lieutenant governor. The lieutenant governor set up an inquiry commission. The inquiry commission knew that they started to read those evidence. The landlords knew something was happening. They accepted. They were ready to refund. They thought Mahatma Gandhi would ask 100%. Utter astonishment, he asked 50%. They became adamant on 25%. He accepted 25%. Then the Britishers felt so ashamed, they had to submit with the prestige, everything. They left Champaran and the land came back to the peasants. And this is how the peasants got courage. So now students, there are two messages of the chapter that we have done. First is liberation from fear, and second is to have courage. Now in the next session, we are going to revise these two sessions first, and then we'll complete the chapter in the next session. If you have any queries, you can approach me or call me or send a WhatsApp message. Thank you.